What is good? Happy Monday, y'all. Welcome back to MTL Podcast, hosted by Tevin, Markel, and Lawrence. This is episode 6. We're going to break down the Warriors finally finished off the Kings, so we're going to preview their series with the Lakers. Also, we're going to give some grades for regular season for the Grizzlies and the Bucks, and finish off with some rapid fire and look at the XFL. And so stay tuned. Team. So now that the Warriors, like we said, finally finished off the Kings in dramatic fashion, now they go up against a champion on their own right, the Los Angeles Lakers. How y'all feel about that series? Kind of early predictions, early feels, heading into game 1.
Yeah, I think this is out of all the semifinals series that we're going to see. I think this might be the series to watch. Lakers versus Warriors, LeBron versus Steph. That rivalry that translated from Cavs versus Warriors to now we have the Lakers versus Warriors. Those two have been going at it for years now, and it just seems like the perfect matchup for both sides, right? To keep that rivalry going. In terms of matchups, I feel like if we had to get the edge to one team, I would say the Lakers, just from a defensive standpoint. The Lakers have been really dominant post All-Star break on defense. The regular season, they were number 1 in defense post All-Star. And then heading into the postseason, especially in their games against the Grizzlies, they were 5th allowed in points, 1st in field goal percentage allowed, and 3-point percentage allowed, they were 4th. And they have a 7.5 point differential. So the Lakers have been, locking in on defense. Plus the Warriors, although they are offensive juggernaut, they have been struggling on the defensive end. They got blown out in a couple of their games against the Kings, so it's not a good look for them. And the fact that they went 7 games and now they have to turn around, you basically in 48 hours and play the Lakers game 1, even though it's at home. I think it's going to be tough for them. So how do you guys feel about that? The quick turnaround for this game for the Warriors I guess they play tomorrow, right? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Law. Go ahead.
They're professional athletes. They should be conditioned well enough to go again. I mean, they're fine. I don't think there's anything big. I mean, it's not like they're traveling very far. They're going from Sacramento to Golden. They didn't have to go anywhere. They stayed in the same state. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think the series, we're going to be talking about, how someone's going to get worn out or some game series. I'm not looking too much into it because neither one of these teams are leaving their home state in any of the games. They're going to go home and sleep in their own freaking bed every night. So nothing changes there. You did talk about a little slander towards that Warriors defense, but they're also playing one of the best offensive teams in the entire league during this season. So why don't you cut them a little slack there? They're also going against a bunch of young guys, and they're a bunch of older guys. And now they don't have to worry about that because they got an old-ass man on the other side playing this time. So maybe his knees give out this game, Can always hope, old man's knees give out. Anywho.
Yeah. Everyone's they've been hoping for 20 years.
Yeah.
Draymond's going to be going for the knees this time,
Oh yeah, he's stepping right on your.
No, that's his boy. That's his boy. He can't mess up his business. Can't be messing up his business.
He can't touch the king. He's gonna get $1 billion fine.
He's gonna be like,
can't touch the king. Come on now.
Anywho, I don't know. I think in terms of matchup wise, I think the Warriors. I mean, you're giving a lot of credit to the Lakers. I haven't thought the Lakers are all that good. The Lakers got really lucky. They got to beat up on a beat up Memphis team. And they barely could do that in certain games, which was kind of sad. I mean, the fact that the game went 6 games and Ja had a broken hand pretty much. I mean, it's not broken, but you make your hand go back that far and see how you play. I don't know. I like the Warriors in this one. I think just based on chemistry, just winning, like playing playoff games before, like half the Lakers team is they haven't played in playoff games. Like Rui Hachimura. I mean, I don't think you can count that series back in the day when he went to the 8th seed with Russell Westbrook, and I don't count that. Your white chocolate.
No.
We don't know how he's going to do in the next round. I mean, come on now. You're giving a lot of hate to this Warriors team.
Kobe of the Ozarks. Come on,
Kobe
put
of
some
the
respect on the
Ozarks.
name.
Do you even know where the Ozarks are?
Oh,
That-
man. I was with you till you said Kobe.
Do you even know
Hey, that's what Onk said. I'm a
Ozarks
rival
are?
Onk. Come on now. I don't know, but Onk said it,
It's
so
out
it
of
must be
Missouri. There
good.
ain't
Come
nothing
on
good
now.
coming out of Missouri.
I would say, man, like I see both y'all points, and honestly, I'm kind of torn on this series too because the Lakers are a 7th seed, and they squeaked into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Warriors, like, I mean, they're at where they should be, but it's like that the series with the Kings, it was just like they had a series with Memphis last year. It was like the young, hungry team trying to knock off the proven veterans, the champions, and it didn't work for Memphis, and it ain't worked for the Kings. And for the familiarity what the Kings had because they had, Mike Brown. He literally was on the staff. He won championships with the Warriors, so
Yeah.
he knows that team. And I think, no question about it, they could probably get back next year, but they kind of were like a surprise team. Like nobody really expected not only the Kings to go to the playoffs, but be a top seed in the playoffs. So that said, it's like the Warriors are battle tested. Just like I don't look at it on a totality kind of scale. I look at it as like in this season, like in these moments, like what have you done? They've beaten a team that technically during the regular season has performed better than them and has familiarity just from like the coaching standpoint, like the X's and O's standpoint. The
Yeah.
Lakers do have that familiarity where LeBron has been in a series against these guys, but nobody else. And they're a couple seasons removed now from actually winning a championship just straight outright, where the Warriors just won one. So
Yeah.
it's like, like the Lakers have some momentum by knocking off a team that they should have lost to, a younger team as well. It's kind of a pick 'em. It depends on who's going to be the best player. I always tell y'all, like, I don't focus on like it's got to be like a whole bunch of this the team here, like the 12th man here, the 8th dude off the bench. It ain't gonna come down to that. It's gonna come down to LeBron. It's gonna come down to AD. It's gonna come down to Steph, Clay, and to some point Dre, like what he does, like from a
Yeah.
totality standpoint. He's like the heartbeat, but like a double kind of dude. Like, can he be solid enough? So
I
honestly,
agree.
it's going to be a good series. I say whoever wins game one is probably going to end up winning the series. To be honest with you, I'll give it right now to the Warriors. But yeah, I mean, I kind of just have to get to the Warriors. The Lakers have what it takes. Just if you were asked, like, if this was LeBron 2-3 years ago, yeah, I'd probably give it to the Lakers just with the team that they have and LeBron. But LeBron now, I don't know, because AD's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? To just be like here, and that's what bothers me about the Lakers is like that team could be running through the West, and it just because they can't do it because they cannot just say here. LeBron can't just say here. AD take us, and even if he did, like right now, the results are you were a 7th seed and you had to get into the play-in. So even if LeBron took off the whole doggone season, didn't come back into the playoffs, it's like, will we even make it? So I don't know. I got the Warriors based off just like right now this season, they've been the more consistent team. Both are battle tested, so it's going to be a fun one though. I definitely agree with you on that. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Lakers and Warriors is definitely, like I said earlier, going to be probably the best series we're going to see.
Yeah.
In the second round. You guys already know I'm gonna go with the Lakers. I'm going with GOAT. I mean,
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
I just can't root against the man. Year 20, he's doing unbelievable things. When Anthony Davis is actually locked in and loaded, he's playing unbelievable. I think the Lakers have just been playing really well. From defense and offensively as well. They did pretty well against the Grizzlies, which in their own right are a really good defensive team.
Yeah.
Triple J, he won Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Brooks, even with all the trash talking and the antics, he's actually
Bro, put him down.
yeah, I mean, he's actually like a average like defender, above average probably. So yeah, I mean, they did really well against the Grizzlies. I thought that series could have gone 7, but luckily it went 6, and the Lakers are rested up. Hopefully they regain focus, and they're gonna be the more rested team going into Game 1. So I'm kind of with you right there, Tevin. I feel like whoever wins Game 1 slashes whoever wins on the road first is probably going to be the victor of the series, because both teams aren't particularly good on the road, so it'll be interesting to see who can pull off that first road victory. I feel like for the Lakers, Game 1 isn't a must win, but if they want to win the series, a Game 1 win would do them wonders.
Yeah, for sure.
Just make it easier for them down the road. So yeah, I'm going Lakers. They got Draymond Green, they got CeeLo Green. It don't matter. Lakers in 6.
Lakers in 6.
Lakers in 6.
Doc, call the sweep. Call the sweep. Get the broom. Hold on. Let me go. Where the broom at? Get the broom and call it.
Nah, I think the Warriors, like you said, they got that championship DNA, but we got GOAT DNA, so it don't matter.
Yeah. I will say, like, in terms of like on the court, it's definitely going to come down to the Lakers are a better playmaking team, and the Warriors are a better shooting team. So really, like, who's going to be able to control those two factors? Like, they're biggest factors of the two teams. Can the Lakers just make enough plays? And like basically, I'll play them, but can they just make enough plays? Like, can LeBron make those passes? Can those guys like Austin Reeves, can they step up, hit them big shots? Can Rui play some defense, make some shots? Basically, be like their Andrew Wiggins in a way, low key. And for the Warriors, all you got to do is, can we knock down enough shots? Because they're going to shoot the lights out of the gym, and no one can beat them at any point in time. If the Warriors are on Clay, Steph, of course, Andrew Wiggins, if he's hitting shots, Looney controlling the boards, like, you really just don't have a shot. So it really it comes down to that for me. Shot making and playmaking are going to be, like, I feel like, the two biggest factors for both teams.
Yeah, I agree. And especially for the Warriors, I think rebounding is going to be really big.
Yeah.
They're outmatched with the Lakers have a lot of guys 6'9" and above. Rui, AD, Mo, which they don't really play, but I feel like in this series he might get some action.
Yeah, Braun still bang too.
Braun is getting rebounds like crazy. So the Warriors going to have to really do good on the boards, some team rebounding, because Looney can't do it all by himself, right? So he's going to need some help. And these young guys on the Warriors going to have to step up too. Kuminga, when he gets in, he's going to have to, get some really good minutes and get some good production. Poole, he just can't keep having these busts of games, man. Like, he's got to step it up, I feel like, if the Warriors want a chance.
Yeah, he's too much of a spark for me for him to be like ghosting at times. They really lean on him to be like, not in a way like what Dre is for them, but like that almost like a 6-man, like, he's that important to the team. Like, if he's on, ain't nobody beating us. That's how I feel like when the Warriors really have Poole. They're like, all right, you're just not beating us. Like, look what happened in the finals. As soon as Poole was hitting half-court shots, giving them buckets off the bench, the Celtics were done.
Yeah. Poole, if you're better, his unders have hit like almost every game this series. So that's not a good look. And I'm pretty sure they weren't even that high. So Poole needs to play better. Wiggins has been up and down. So it'll be interesting to see some of the younger guys on Golden State if they can really step up against, like Lawrence said earlier, like the Lakers are older. There's more vets on that team. So, they're a little bit more seasoned. So we'll see how the young guys play. How do you feel, Lawrence, about the young guys on the Warriors?
Like, okay, we're talking about seasoned Laker players with very little, postseason play. Not a lot of them have much postseason play, so I don't know. I think you're right about Jordan Poole, but I also think maybe you should let Poole play with the first team a little bit more. Maybe if you're a little scared that Curry's going to be a little tired, maybe let Curry chill out a little bit more in the first half in the first game of the first series, so that way he can come lights out in the second half, that kind of thing. I don't know, because my thing with Poole is they're making the man play with the second team a lot more, and like the only one that's actually joining him on the second team is kind of Dre, and Dre's good in assists, but Poole can get open on his own, so he doesn't really need Dre. That's not what he needs. And then they sometimes doesn't let him play with Wiggins. Not really, but maybe the only one that's on that court at the time that when Poole's on the court is Dre. And in my opinion, those two, maybe because he punched him in the face, don't really clash together really well. They don't mesh.
Something to do with it.
So,
He did give him-
I
gave
mean,
him
that's
a
just something
standing,
I'm
too.
thinking about. I think that it's going to be really important that Dre and
That's a good point.
Looney just kind of beat the crap out of AD first 2 games at home. When the refs are probably going to be on your side, let's be realistic.
Yeah, they're gonna
You're
get
at home, the refs are probably going to be a little bit more aiding towards you. I mean, AD's a liability at all times. Like, the man could be getting out a gallon of milk out of his fridge, and you're scared he's going to pull a muscle. So you automatically gonna
That ain't right.
gotta
That
be
ain't
going
right.
after him the
Always
first
try.
2 games. Like, that's gotta be instinct. You just gotta go for him. Maybe hurt him a little bit, So that's how I think. I think Warriors in 6. I'm gonna go opposite of Markel. I think Warriors in 6. And you guys keep saying this is gonna be the most interesting game I don't know. After watching, most interesting series. After watching Jimmy Butler get hurt, I think that series now we're. I think that
He
series
ain't
is a
hurt.
little
He
more
ain't hurt.
interesting.
Mm-mm.
I think that series gets a
He ain't
little
hurt.
more interesting.
Hey,
Heat
listen,
5.
him good. Him good. He will go ahead, take that little, you know what I'm saying, backdoor shot. He'll be all right.
Yep,
He'll
got
be all
some vibranium. He's
Yeah,
good.
you know what I'm saying? I got Warriors in 7. This series I feel like should go 7. Depending on how AD plays, isn't squarely that, because he is still, like, even with Looney, who's a dog, even with Dre, who a Hall of Famer, he's still the best big in period. So
Yeah.
he's just got to step up. This is his series to really prove to the Lakers that at some point it's like, can we just give you the team? Can we trust you with the franchise? Is you the franchise dude, or you know what I'm saying? Are we eventually gonna have to move from AD? So I think this is a series to kind of just prove, like, I don't care who you are, I don't care what it is, the circumstances, I am still a top 75 player of all times in the NBA.
Gotta
That's
prove
what
the
his
doubters
peers-
wrong.
Yeah, that's what his peers said. That's what he got. He got the little jacket. So, like, if you one of them, then I'm saying you kind of gotta step up. Because I mean, like, let's take into account, like, Giannis, for instance. Like, Giannis pretty much did that without a LeBron. So you gotta, in today's game, we've seen that happened. So you kind of don't have as many excuses. I love AD. I love his game, but yeah, it's kind of his series to win.
I think
I agree.
So I got Warriors in 7, but I wouldn't be.
I think
wouldn't be mad
another
if the
thing
Lakers win it.
that either one of these teams needs to be looking at is the matchup they're going to be having, which, in my opinion, with the Nuggets in the next round. It's really going to be dependent on the game tonight. If the Nuggets kind of beat the crap out of the Suns again, that's going to be really telling, because the Suns are making the starters play the whole game, basically, and the Nuggets are still handling them. So at one point in time, you got to be a little concerned if you're the Warriors or the Lakers. Like, if the Nuggets wrap up that series super quick, I need to be putting my foot down hard on this series, because I can't be playing no game 7s when the Nuggets got 5 games or 6 games, because they're already ahead of you starting the series. They're going to be 2 games in before you play 1 game.
Yeah.
So something to look out for.
Yeah.
Like, whoever gets this lead, like you said, that wins the game 1, whoever wins game 1 has to be thinking throat on neck.
Yeah, you got
to keep up with them.
Yeah, that's a good point, Law, because like you said, just mathematically, you got to keep up. And yeah, I mean, because the matchup is already tough by itself. So yeah, that's something to look forward to.
I mean, that might be something we're covering next episode, because let's think about it, man. Like, if the Suns get smacked around again, that's a little scary.
That was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it, but I kind of feel like that was a little bit, because now I'm looking at the bench, I'm looking at the roster of the Nuggets, and I'm like, y'all don't have that many dudes also on your bench that I'm not scared of. The dude I'm really the most scared of, and I liked him when he played with the Clippers, Bryce Brown. He can
Bruce Brown.
Yeah, he can hoop. He can hoop. I don't know how they let him go. He can hoop. Ish Smith is all right. Reggie Jackson's all right, but like, that's really he would probably be my go-to. That's why they gave him the most minutes, and he performed. But outside of that, I'm not really scared of the Nuggets bench. It's their 5 and the way that they can utilize the 5 that I think is really killing the Suns right now. So yeah, they're going to have to, like, Warriors or Lakers, they're going to have to wrap this series up, because I mean, either way, even if it wasn't the Nuggets, they're too old. Like, LeBron, your best player is LeBron,
Both teams,
Steph.
yeah.
Like, y'all pushing 30s, like not even mid 30s. We almost in the late 30s, bro.
Both teams' best players are old, so they, like you guys have said,
35. Bron is like 37.
38, yeah.
Bruh, come on, bruh.
80s, 30.
Come on, bro. You can't be out here. You can't be out here messing around. And then in the Nuggets, while they're not like a young team, it's like they're young enough and want a chip.
Yeah.
So it's like you do have to take care of that, because right now they look and it's like, and even if the Suns do end up making it, you know, D-Book, he's young enough, and KD, I mean, he need a chip. He want another chip. So that's gonna be an interesting one.
I agree.
So on to our next series. On to our next topic, which would be the grading for the Bucks and Grizzlies. All right. So stay tuned. So let's chop it up, boys, and let's grade the Milwaukee Bucks and the Memphis Grizzlies regular season / postseason, since both teams made it, but mainly the regular season. Like, let's start with a champion. Let's start with the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay. Grade their season, boys. Kel, let's start with you.
All right. I think for the Bucks, if we're gonna grade, I have to give them 2 different grades, because in the regular season they were a phenomenal team, right? So regular season, I give them an A, right? Number 1 seed overall, number 1 seed in the East. Okay. But if we go postseason, they got a C, bro. I think, even though, I mean, I'm gonna try to be objective here.
Fair.
You know, obviously I'm a Heedle fan.
And there's no failures. So.
No failures wherever Giannis goes, right? So we got to keep that into account, right?
Facts.
So I'm gonna give them a C. You know, we don't give Fs to Giannis. You know, I think the postseason for them was a disappointment. The team that was, I would say, wasn't like a unanimous pick to go to the finals, but they were pretty heavily favored to go to the finals, right? Or at least to meet the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. So to lose, yes. So to lose in the first round is just really upsetting. I know Giannis was really frustrated when he talked to the media. When we were referring to the failure thing, he was really frustrated by the reporter who wanted to ask him, was this season is a failure, right? And he asked that question before, so it really like pissed him off. So, yeah. So yeah, for the Bucks, disappointing postseason. So if you combine the grades, you probably get like a B. So I think overall, I give them a B for the regular season and postseason.
All right, Laura, or you?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, if we're going to be comparison here, like, okay, we're going to take 2 number 1 seeds in 2 different conferences, or not conferences, 2 different sports. So the Boston Bruins last night got knocked out by the Florida Panthers, who were absolutely atrocious and had no goalkeeping.
Atrocious.
So we're going to talk about the Bucks, who got knocked out by, well, I can't be mean because my friend's here, but a Miami team that's not only that good, with some bums on it, and they got knocked out. No. I'm going to give them a C for the whole season, because, I mean, it doesn't matter how you start; it's about how you finish. And that finish was horrible. Coach. I mean, that was horrible. That's pathetic. I mean, your coach is kind of on the hot seat now just because of that finish. So, I'll give it a C the whole season overall, because, like, okay, I have a good start of my. Okay, we're going to talk about college. All right, the first part of the semester, I got all A's. Second semester, I start drinking a little bit more. My grades go a little bit down. Then I get a D on my final exam. My final grade will be a C. So I'm getting a C. So you get a C. Maybe a C plus. You know, you had a good first season part of the season, but we're just going to go with a C. And then you look at who's going to be a free agent. Well, they're not going to keep a lot of those names. I mean, you're going to get some of them back just because of who you are, but I mean, there's a lot. I mean, it's kind of, if you're a Bucks fan, you're kind of like, crap. It's not like this was all in, or it's nothing, because there's still a chance you can make some runs, but like, you got a lot of money that you're paying towards a luxury tax. You got a lot of money you got to pay guys. You're gonna have some guys that you probably just can't even, fit in again. You can't bring them back unless they, they lose money, and nobody wants to lose money. So for a team that kind of needed to win now a little bit,
I agree.
It's just a little disappointing, and so that's why I give it a C. But C's can get degrees. So
C's definitely get you degrees, but it doesn't get you a championship. So
very true.
I'm actually with both of you, but I'm more towards the C. I actually gave him a C minus.
Damn, they didn't even pass. Damn.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? Like you get a C. I give you I'll just put the C on there, but know that you could have got a D. Like,
so you're talking to them after class.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull you back. Like, look, Giannis, bro, you should have passed. So I'm gonna give you, because you've been an A student, I'm gonna give you this. But just know on my books, you got like a 68.9. You got a 69 point. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to step it the fuck up. All right. And basically that's what the Bucks are at. I feel you, Law, like what you said, like it doesn't even feel like this season, like they really went all in. And it doesn't feel like they have been going all in. They've just developed, gotten better, and won a chip. But it's disappointing to lose to a team that you should have flat out you should have beaten them. You know what I'm saying? You should have beaten them. Like, and you've had the familiarity, like we talked about last episode, like you've had the familiarity to the point where nothing should surprise you about Jimmy Butler, Butler. You shouldn't be surprised. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be surprised that like these role players are going to step up in these moments. You shouldn't be surprised at how Eric Spoelstra is going to deploy, his guys, his chess pieces. Like this, nothing should surprise you. So I guess not. It's like going back to college. It's like, yeah, I got A's, and the final was open book, and you still failed the job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, that's why I definitely got to talk to you after class. Like, what's up with you? Like,
yeah, they were letting the old man with knee problems beat him up.
You got to stop partying or something, big fella. You got to buckle down. So I mean, the Bucks, you got Giannis, so your window's open, but I mean, a C minus, I feel like it's fair. The regular season, of course, being the 1 seed, like earning that in the Eastern Conference, you earned that. You had a good regular season, but I am with you, Law. It's not how you started, it is how you finish, because how you finish, you felt some type of way about. Otherwise, Eric wouldn't make you upset.
So let me read this to you guys, and then you guys give me your ideas. Because
talk to us.
You got Chris Middleton on player option.
Right.
You got Brook Lopez, free agent. Jay Crowder, free agent. Joe Ingles, free agent. Wesley Matthews, free agent. Javon Carter, Javon Carter, player option. Thanatis, free agent.
Giannis's brother.
He's coming back. I mean, you gonna leave?
And Dragic, well, he's a free agent, but
he's out. He's out.
And then I don't know the guy, but AJ Green. I thought he played in the NFL.
No, he retired.
But yeah, I mean, you look at that list. I mean, that's a lot of guys. That's half your team. Now, a lot of them are bench guys, but bench is important.
You're right. I could find some young dudes to fill those roles. It just really depends on, do they fit and who's willing to stay. Like you were saying, Law, like you have all these factors of like why you're up against it, but you're also in Milwaukee. So if I'm not going to get the bag, y'all going backwards, like you won the championship, and ever since you've been pretty much going backwards from going back to a championship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're in the position to just say, yo, it's Giannis and come here, come play with us, come take less money to be in Milwaukee, and maybe we can get bounced out by Miami Heat. Like your pitch right now is not as sexy as it would have been if you had just at least beaten a team that you definitely should have. So the Bucks are in a tricky spot, especially going into the in the offseason, because only thing that they can really do at this point is get better, especially when you're in the cap in the NBA. Like, is either you get better and you hope you hit on some guys late in the draft, some guys that you can, bring in on, them cheap options. Hopefully some of your guys from the player options want to come back, opt in. and just make your running in.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, looking forward to the offseason, like Lauren said, they got a lot of players that are, on the fence about leaving. I think the biggest problem is what are they going to do with their two starters, Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton does have a player option, for $40 million. Does he opt in? He does have some injury history, and this past season he's been in and out the lineup with some injuries. So it'll be
He was
interesting
hurt
to
last playoffs too, right?
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if he'll take his option. I'm giving it about a 75% chance that he opts in,
Yes,
unless him and the Bucks can work on a. It would have to be a team friendly deal, right? Because he's not a $40 million player anymore.
yeah.
So maybe he opts out and re-signs for more years, maybe 4 years at around $25 to $30 million base. I feel like that's probably his range. Even if he were to go somewhere else, that's probably his range, right?
Yeah.
And then we look towards Brook Lopez. The most that the Milwaukee can offer him is three for, I think I have it written down here. I think three for $54 million because of the over 38 rule. So
That's good money, but I don't know if he take that, bro, because he can get that somewhere else.
Yeah. So,
but he's also 35.
But he's a big that can shoot.
He's a big that can shoot. Defensive Player of the Year candidate out of nowhere, right? So.
Right.
I mean, the money is not really the issue here because of the over 38 rule. I think it just depends on if he wants to change the scenery, right? And Brook Lopez, he's in his defense, he's had a good role in Milwaukee. He's not asked to do much besides shoot threes and rebound and get some blocks. So maybe he stays, maybe he goes. I'm not too sure about that. But I think Milwaukee's priorities are to re-sign those two, and then I think the other guys on the list. The likes of Joe Ingles, like he's played well coming back from his ACL. He's probably gone. Javon Carter, he's probably gone. He can probably get more in the open market than $2.2 million. The Drake Crowder, that experiment didn't work, so he's probably gone. So, like Tevin was saying earlier, they're going to have to find some of these young guys to come play for them, whether that's undrafted or maybe they can find some gems in the G League or through the Summer League. Maybe they can find some hidden gems,
Yeah, they don't have a first-round pick.
Man, you're going to have to time to get the bifocals out. You know what I'm saying? Go into your Rolodex, see who's disgruntled or see who's one of these guys who maybe you could pick up as a free agent. You're going to have to get very crafty when you get teams like this, regardless of what sport it is. Once you win a championship and you get up against the cap, you have your superstars in place. You have to end up just finding a way to get guys who are just going to fit their roles in the program and develop them to be more, so that if you do need it, let's say you get like a what's the boy's name that they picked up and nobody really wanted,
Jay Crowder?
Duke. No, Allen.
Grayson Allen. Yeah.
Like if you can make like guys like him come into your program and become a name, and if you have to flip that asset, you get more out of it than you put in. That's the kind of moves you got to make, because otherwise you're just going to be sitting there and you're going to get old. Your superstars going to get old, disgruntled, and at a point where it's like, all right, if I want another chip, I'm gonna have to leave because I'm not the best player like on this team no more. I'm not even the best player in the league anymore. So it comes down to really that, like, especially with Giannis, he's very big on his legacy. So they can't keep these first round losses to 8 seeds going on. Like, you just can't do that, or 7 seed, whatever. You can't do that. So moving to another team that had a disappointing end to their season, the Memphis Grizzlies. Boys, what happened to the Grizzlies, and what is their grade?
What happened?
What happened to the boys?
They thought they're gonna have party in their city, right? Thought that party was gonna come through Memphis, But nah, I think they got that foot right up the butt, They got really stomped. So I think for the Grizzlies, I'm gonna have to give them an even worse grade than the Bucks, right? I think I'm gonna give them a C. I think for all the talking that they did this season plus last postseason with all their talking and all the antics and they have nothing to fear in the West. We're only worried about the East. Like, nah, I'm not buying any of that. I feel like all that for me encapsulates their grade, right? So I'm gonna give them a C. I know Ja was hurt from his hand in the beginning of the series. And I know he had some off the court issues during the regular season with the whole strip club thing and the gun thing and all the other things that's happened to him.
Who goes to? I'm just curious. Who goes to a strip club without a gun? Because can we be honest?
And then flashes it on IG Live, right?
Now,
like
see, that was the part you probably shouldn't have done. If you had done everything else but that,
you've been straight, right?
You know what I'm saying?
That and fighting the kid in his neighborhood that comes over and plays basketball with him. You know, he's trying to like be a mentor towards that kid, and then he just ends up squaring up and beating the kid.
Sometimes his kids be tripping. These young boys talk so greasy, and it's like he's not that far. He's not that far your elder, so
yeah. But I don't know, like if you have a kid like you're trying to mentor, and he's like coming over your house, like
how old is this kid?
I think the kid was like close to going to college, so he must have been like probably 17, 18.
Oh, he got it on his chest. He all right. Take this.
Take this whooping. Yeah, so off the court issues have kind of plagued them this season, and their injuries are, from Steven Adams with his knee, and then Brandon Clark is out. So it hasn't been, the injuries combined with some of the off the court stuff with the Grizzlies and all the antics and stuff. I'm gonna give them a C. I just, for me, it just wasn't what I was feeling for them. Yeah. Expected a lot more.
Yeah, I concur. Law, go ahead. Give you a grade.
I mean, I wasn't going to go that far to C. I mean, I was a little... I don't think in any book can you rate the Grizzly seasons worse than the Buck season, because the Buck season was not, like you said, not championship or bust, but you were highly favored. I mean, highly favored to win the championship. The Grizzlies were never highly favored to win the championship. Sportsbooks didn't have them that high to win the championship. So,
but they were pretty heavily favored to get to Western Conference Finals, though. I mean, they were the number 2 seed for a good part of the season.
I had them looking like as a finals.
Yeah, for like most of the season. And then as soon as Ja got hurt in the first round, if you pay attention to the sports books, their stock dropped, which is not their fault. They can't control an injury. I'd give it a B. I mean, I'd give it a B just because of Ja by himself with the off-season stuff. Or not off the season, off the court stuff.
Off the court.
I just give it shit for that. I mean, you're supposed to be like I want to say like the captain of your team. You're supposed to be the best player on the team, and you're having people like Steven Adams on your team just say to you like, "What the hell are you doing, man? Like, get help. Like, fix your shit. Like, I don't want to play with this. Like, Steven Adams has a point. He's getting older. He does his job perfectly well. He's bringing it to his table for you. Why can't you just be smart? It's not that hard to ask someone to be smart."
Yeah, so, Steven Adams is actually kind of young. He's still in his 20s.
Is he?
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. Steven Adams is still like 20-something. Let me look it up right now.
Yeah, I call cap on that.
If he's 28, bro, I'm done with this.
There ain't no way.
29.
No.
I'm done with this.
He's pulling numbers out. He's just lying.
It's the meta. Sponsored by.
And then in this part of the video, guys, you're gonna see the screenshot of the age, right?
Yo. Okay. All right. So I can agree. So to the point of both records of the Bucks and Grizzlies. So the Bucks were 58-24. The Grizzlies were 51-31. So based off of like the Bucks ended up being the 1 seed, like we talked about, the Grizzlies ended up earning the 2 seed in the West. I'm still in the mindset of kind of with you, Law, like I don't see either season as a success. Like I can't really give them a B, and I can't give them a D. So I want to go back to again a C- because I see both of their seasons kind of encapsulating. Nah, can't say failure. Giannis going to come out. I just see him as disappointments, like you said, Kel. Like I just see him as like we should have been, especially for the Grizzlies. Like they're going backwards in my opinion. Like you just were in the semi-conference finals against the Warriors, against the champs. Like you lost to the champs. Like there's really no better, I guess,
way to go out.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. We lost to the team that ended up winning the chip. I can take that. You know what I'm saying that's a B kind of season. A C-, almost a D, really. That's the one that I'm just going to be like, I'm probably going to put a D onto your ledger because you had everything and I gave you everything, and you just you kind of pissed it away. So I feel like the Grizzlies are that team, and with Jared Jackson Jr., he's got like 3 more years left on his deal.
Yeah.
Ja's deal is just now about to kick in. So really, we're looking at those two have to carry this team, and can they do that? It's something that we talked about with AD, but like it's both of them, because like, can we trust Ja on the court because of his health injuries or because of health concerns? Can we trust him to be on the court and be the pretty much a premier guard in the league? You know what I mean? And Jared Jackson, can we have him, be a dominant, like a top 5 big in the league? Because right now he's like a borderline like top 10 kind of dude. And he
Yeah, I
shouldn't be
agree.
that when we don't have that many bigs, especially American-born bigs that are that good. So, especially he won Defensive Player of the Year, so he's not a scrub. But
No.
in today's league, Defensive Player of the Year is cute. Are you Rudy Gobert, or are you going to end up being like
Marcus Smart?
Yeah, like are you gonna end up being like one of them, or are you going to be like Giannis? Are you going to be one of them dudes, one of them ones? And B, are you going to be one of them
like
ones?
a Dwight Howard, like back in the day, or like an Alonzo Mourning, or
because Dwight
Kevin
took
Garnett.
his team to a championship, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Regardless. And he didn't have anybody like Ja. Jameer Nelson was nice. You know what I mean? Who else was on that team?
Rashid Lewis. Hedo Turkoglu.
Right. They had a little team. Turkoglu could shoot that thing, bro.
I was telling my buddy the other day, I was like, bro, you don't know about that Hedo Turkoglu, bro. Back in the day. Come on now.
Man, bro, like, are we that old to be like back in the day? But that's crazy. But yeah, man, like they just need to not just grow up. I think, like we talked about before too, I said they needed a wing that they can rely on that can give them something.
Yeah.
And I still think that's true. So in Dylan Brooks, yeah, he's coming up on free agency. I'm not mad if he walked, but they're going to need to replace him with somebody. You can't just replace him with like another, like a dude who's borderline bench and just play him because you don't have nobody else on the roster that can fill that spot. If you're going to replace Dylan Brooks and let him walk because of your cap situation, you're going to need a dog, like somebody who could probably better yet complement Ja, like how Steph compliments Clay. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So yeah, I give him a C-, and they're really going to have to go into the offseason looking like how they can improve, because right now they're taking steps backwards, and that's not where they need to be.
I mean, one problem with the Grizzlies I noticed, based on some bets I placed during the playoffs, Jaren Jackson Jr. Is absolute crap at getting rebounds. And I'll just straight up put it out
Which
there.
is crazy.
Too busy getting blocks. That's all that is.
The man's going for blocks way too often, or he I don't know how to explain it. Like he'll get at the 3-point line and then he just stays there for no reason.
He doesn't chase a shot.
And it works when Steven Adams is in the game, because he doesn't do anything besides sit in the paint and get rebounds. But you didn't have him, so you should play like you don't have him, not like you got him. And I maybe that's just I don't want to say immaturity, but maybe that's just the young age. Like he hasn't grasped the fact that if I'm losing other pieces on the team, like I gotta expand on what I already do. Like okay, I'm all about the blocks, but right now your team don't need you to do blocks. Your team needs you to get a freaking rebound, and you're letting LeBron out rebound you, and he's 38 years old.
Let LeBron get a 20-20. Come on now.
That's to me, that's that coaching stuff. Like, coach, you gotta not to tell them like I need you to go dog mode. Like, you should have that in you, and if you don't got that dog in you, that's a bigger problem. But like, as a coaching staff, you got to be like, okay, this is the situation. This is like we're going to put you in the best spot, but this is what it's going to require from you. You know what I mean? And then you see if you can rely on that dude or not. But that's where it comes down to: are you a championship coach? It gets exposed in these moments. Are you a championship coach? Are you an Eric Spoelstra? Are you a Popovich? Nick Nurse at one point. Like the guys who have recently won, Coach Bud. Like, are you one of them dudes that knows at the right moments how to manipulate and get the best out of your star player and your star guys? Or are you just going to be like, well, we tried.
He averages 6 points. He averages 6.8 rebounds a game.
That's what is the same thing kind of happening with Aiden. It's like, bro, what? You're too. Like, if you just stand there for like a couple seconds, you could get like 6 rebounds.
Get a couple rebounds instead of standing out of bounds and watch Jokic tap himself like 5 rebounds. But that's neither the here nor there. As far as Grizzlies players, I mean, you guys have kind of alluded to it. They only have 2 free agents, basically Dylan Brooks and Xavier Tillman, who has a team option, which they'll probably pick up because it's team friendly. There's no point of declining a $2.1 million option, and then you can work out an extension afterwards. They have all their picks moving forward. So this year they have picks 25, 45, and 56. So they could find their wing in the draft. They've been scouting well. In terms of Brooks, what I think they should do, maybe try to work out a team friendly deal. Is he worth the $4 million, the 4 years and $61 million extension? I don't think so. But can he get maybe a
what?
Yeah, he's eligible for 4 years, $61 million.
Man,
do I think he's
the wrong sport in high school, bro?
Do I think he's worth maybe a 2+1 at maybe mid-level money, like $12 million? Yeah, sure. He doesn't shoot well, but he plays above average defense, and even with the antics, I still think he's a valuable player, right?
Well, now that he is going to go up to free agency. I didn't know that until we got deeper in the series, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, Dylan Brooks is coming up on free agency." I'm like, "Oh, well, that makes sense now. Why you're making more of a name for yourself? Because I got to get the bag. It's time to get paid. Now you start hearing about folk when it's time to get the bag."
He's trying to hype himself up, trying to help out his monetary situation going forward, right? But
I can't feed my family with that.
Yeah, I think, like I said, team-friendly deal for Brooks if he wants to come back. If not, just let him walk. Maybe sign and trade him to a team that could use a defensive guy. As far as finances, they're looking pretty good. They are about $20 million below luxury tax. Okay. $7 million will be shaved off if Ja makes an All-NBA team, which will give his Supermax more money. So I think he'll go from like $235 for 5 years to like $250 something. So just something to look out for. So they're good with the money. Just looking forward, will they extend Desmond Bane? They've been really good with extensions. So will they give Desmond Bane a contract?
Doing them early,
yeah. Will they give him a contract similar to Hero and Jordan Poole? We'll see this offseason. But what do you guys think? Do you think they should sign Brooks and extend Bane, or how do you think they should go about their roster construction?
I would say that for me, I would let Brooks either do the sign and trade, or I would honestly might have to ask him to come back on less money, because eventually you're going to get to that point where like we can't. It's basically what the Warriors are in right now. We cannot pay 3 dudes, and one of them is basically like you haven't contributed to like what Draymond's done. I know that's kind of like his MO, his model is like Dre.
Yeah, it's comparison. Yeah,
if you're going to be that, then Dre's got 4 chips. You know what I mean? At that point in time, that he wasn't. People probably don't know Dre as a really good player, but there was a point in time he was probably the best 4 in the league.
Period. Oh yeah.
So like Dre is not. It's not just like Dre is just some dude who's been carrying on. Like the latter part of his career, he's been more of like the heart and soul, make a play here and there, show up. But Dre, you know what I'm saying, defensive player of the year in his own right. So it's like, is Dylan Brooks going to be that? Because then you could kind of give him like, all right, I'll throw you the 4 years, 60. But if you're not that, man, I would look to see if he's feeling if he's feeling to going somewhere else, who's going to give him the money. Like, let's say Miami want to take a flyer. They like defensive guys.
Yeah.
Let's say Miami want to do it. Or the Spurs, they want to get back to being relevant. Let's say the Spurs want to do it. Not saying they will, just so it. But if they want to do that, sign and trade, bro. I got to get something back for you. And those teams are going to give me at least something that I can work with going forward. Because Memphis needs more.
What do you think he's worth? What do you think he's worth?
I don't really like that. Oh, in terms of getting something back, yeah, I would probably say, because I mean the NBA draft is just not that deep. So half these dudes that go first, it's like you're like, who in like 2 years. So yeah, I'd probably say like a first and maybe some mid dude.
Yeah, I agree. I would probably protect it maybe.
Yeah. Yeah,
Probably
and
like a
especially if
top
I'm
20
on one of them
protection.
lottery teams, yeah, absolutely, I'm protecting that joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lo?
Oh no, what I'm thinking, the 76ers are putting on a clinic right now. It looks amazing. In terms of Memphis Grizzlies, my only problem with letting him walk is the fact that John Morant is a liability on defense.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
he does his job that he's supposed to do there, which is play defense. Which I guess maybe you can bring in a 3-and-D guy and like suffice it. But I mean, Brooks sometimes can get you some points some nights. Maybe make his contract a little bit more incentive based in terms of scoring, since he can do that defensive part. So maybe lessen the bag a little bit, but still increase it by incentive. Kind of what they do in football. You don't really see them do it a whole lot in NBA. You do see it
No.
sometimes, but maybe take note. Like, okay, you can get up to $5 extra million this year if you average 15 points, or not even 13.5 points a game. Like, you get me 13.5, 1 to 2 steals a game, like 1.5 steals, half a block, and at least five to seven. So we'll say 6.5 rebounds a game. Yeah, see, like, we'll give you an extra $5 million. Like, maybe you should get his contract a little bit more incentive based, because defensively,
all-star team or something.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
incentively, like, he's there. Like, defensively, he's there. He does exactly what you need him to do, and he solves your problem with Ja on defense, because he's a liability on defense. He's just not big enough to guard, certain guys. So you kind of need a Dylan Brooks. Yeah, I would just make his contract a little bit more incentive based. If you don't, yeah, like you guys said, you're gonna have to trade him. Maybe get a first for him, but if you're gonna trade him, then you're gonna definitely have to go for like a 3-and-D guy, just someone who knows their role. Then you're also asking a guy to come into a team and know your role. Like, some guys don't like to be told to do that kind of thing. But right now, 76ers put on a clinic. I was telling you guys earlier that the 10.5 spread seemed a little weird, and they're winning by 2, and James Harden's got 30 points. So,
Kill. Well,
Overkill.
To your point, I was going to say, like, that's a good point, though. Is like the restarting. I don't know if you're in a position to restart because you got the Supermax with Ja, you got Triple J on a deal that's going to expire in 3 years. And for Dylan Brooks, I would also say the caution is like him ended up becoming something that he could have been with us. Like, if he ends up getting into his bag, and let's say he starts averaging more points and still at least good enough on defense, well, now he's borderline a star player in the league now.
Yeah.
So it's tricky situation. Like, you got something good, like you say, he's an insurance policy for Ja. But that's what Triple J is supposed to be, because he's getting more money. So it's like for Dylan Brooks, it's like you want me to be an insurance policy, but you don't want to pay me like close to what Triple J is going to make. So it's like at certain points he's going to be looking at the organization sideways, and it's a tough situation, bro. It really is.
It really is.
I don't want if I'm the Grizzlies, like, at the end of the day, I don't want you leaving my organization and you hooping, because that's really going to piss me off, and that's going to piss off my fan base, and it's probably going to piss off like some of the better players on the team.
Oh, for sure. And he's shown flashes in the past. When Jaw's been out in the past, him and Desmond Bane have pretty much lit it up, right? So, Brooks has shown flashes, but it's never been consistent enough, and it's never been over a long stretch, right? So, like Lawrence said, I'm thinking if they keep him, let's do incentive based like Lawrence. And then, how do you guys feel about if they can incentivize it to be 4 years, $60 million? So maybe 4 years, 40 guaranteed, and then he can get the rest incentives. How you feel about that?
It depends on how you feel about that. How you feel about that? Because, like I said, he gonna look at it like, but when Jaw's out, or but Triple J don't really, do what I do, especially because I'm a guard, so that can switch off sometimes and play like dudes bigger than me. So it's like, does he like that deal? Is really going to be the end all question. And where's his market? Like, are there teams out there willing to either match or give him more
Give
to
him
lure
more,
him
yeah.
away. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not like a champion, so it's like, am I willing to put more money into him when he's like a borderline dude?
Well, another thing that you have leverage to the Grizzlies is like, I don't want to say his attitude, but the way he the way he talks a lot,
The
and
antics.
then like his diva-ness. Like a lot of teams are gonna be steer clear of that. There's just gonna be certain good teams that are gonna be like, no, I don't need that. Now it's gonna be some of those less good teams that are gonna be like, oh, I just need players and I need to win. I need to get some tickets.
Yeah.
So you're gonna look at that in two ways, and then he's also gonna look at that in two ways. Like, oh man, what to say? For instance, like, oh man, I can go play for the Magic and I can get the bag, but then I'm playing with just Paulo.
So I want to waste the next however many part of my years and be 30 and back on the market chasing the ring. Yeah,
all of them.
All right, fellas. Well, those are our grades for the Milwaukee Bucks and the Memphis Grizzlies. Both teams got to do better next year. So we're going to go into our rapid fire, talk some XFL, and that'll be let's finish this all, fellas, the proper way with our rapid fire. We're going to do the XFL recap. So since you fellas were live for the last game, let's start. Let's start there with the Washington Defenders and the the Seattle Sea Battles.
Sea Dragons.
Sea Dragons, yeah.
So because they got smacked around, so
they got smacked around a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Tell the people about the atmosphere and everything, and how y'all feel like the Defenders are playing.
Yeah, I think the Defenders played a really, really solid game overall. For those that are not in the DMV area, it was pouring for a good chunk of Sunday yesterday. Yep. So I think first half it was pretty much either rain or like a light drizzle. So that kind of affected the game a little bit. A lot of balls were, uncatchable. I think there was a couple interceptions in the first half that we threw, of course. But the game, I think, was closer in the first half. In the second half, we kind of just took off. Our defense really held down the fort, and Seattle couldn't really get momentum. And I think that played a big hand into everything. And then the home crowd, like I was saying last episode, the atmosphere, all the fans in the stadium, just make it alive, and the home team just feeds off of it. I'm pretty sure Defenders ended the regular season and postseason undefeated at Audi Field. So it was wonderful to see live. Lawrence, how do you feel about yesterday's fantastic victory by our DC Defenders?
Well, as a man who went to the DC Defenders before COVID, so pre-COVID, and now going there post-COVID, it's an amazing time. I have more fun there than at any Commanders game. Sorry, all Commander guys, all Commander fans out there. There is no atmosphere at a Commanders game. I'll just say that right now. It's all away team. Don't want to say, but a lot of older people. But when you go to these DC Defender games, it's all younger fans. Everyone's having a good time. We were chanting "Let's go, Tim." I didn't know who the heck Tim was, but some random dude in front of us took off a shirt. But we got to cheer the man on. He showed us what a peak male physique looked like. It was not purely peak male, but to some eyes it might be. I haven't had a bad time at these games. I mean, I'm not a mean guy or anything, but the profanity that comes out of my mouth at these things is a little crazy. Not proud of it, but I gotta get my boys going. It was an absolute clinic in the second half in terms of defense. I mean, it was 9-9 going into halftime. We watched the DC Defenders just fumble the bag absolutely before halftime, and instead of kicking a field goal, they went for it really. I think it was like on third and 15, third and 16.
Yeah, it was long.
They tried way too hard, and he tried to force a ball, which ended up getting tipped and intercepted. So just a bunch of stupidity. In the second half, they're like, let's not do anything stupid. Let's just play our game. They beat them special teams wise. I don't think Seattle ever came close to breaking one. DC returner number 13. He does owe half his paycheck to number 20, but he almost broke it. He almost broke it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
but he almost did fumble it really close to our other team's end zone. So he does owe 20 half his paycheck, like bare minimum, half your
Give me
pay.
that.
Because number 20 saved your ass. Because it would have been, I think it was 9-9. They just went 3 and out right at the beginning of the half. No, I'm sorry, it was 15-9, and they had just gone 3 and out, and he fumbled the ball, and he should not have fumbled that punt. I mean, number 20 saved his life.
Yo, this is how you properly have a party in your city. All right. So, yeah, shout out to the defenders. I mean, they did a thug, and got Seattle up out of here. So, next is the Arlington Renegades and the Houston Roughnecks. Now, we talked about Houston winning, but looks like Arlington knew how to cook up a little something, and ended up pulling that game out. So, how do y'all feel about that one?
I think Luis Perez has actually started to find himself in the offense. He didn't come into the team until halfway through the season. Fun fact about Luis Perez, he actually has 7 perfect bowling games in his career.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he said as soon as he's done with football, he's going to go become a professional bowler.
Yeah,
I guess he can go hang out
70.
I guess he can go hang out with Mookie Betts bowling. So, yeah, the guy's a pretty good bowler, but on this last Saturday at 3:00, he decided to go have a game in his career because he hasn't played great by any means so far this season, starting with Arlington. But he did go off that game, and he just took care of the ball. He did just enough in terms of we know what Houston is. They're a very good defensive team, so he just took care of the ball. He got points when he could, and he let his defense take care of most of it. And their defense has been pretty good for this season to keep them in game. It was the fact that their offense could never score more than 16 points. A fun fact also was that's the first time that Arlington has ever scored more than 2 touchdowns in one game. So, I'm sorry, more than two offensive touchdowns. I'm sorry, offensive touchdowns. My bad. But anywho, yeah, I mean that's kind of sad that it took until your championship game to have more than 2 offensive touchdowns. I think it's a little disappointing.
It's not about how you start; it's how you finish.
Yep. I think it's a little disappointing that they decided preemptively to have the championship game in San Antonio. I mean, by far, if you look at record and you look at home field, like what teams actually care, it should have been in DC. We went 10-1. Arlington finished the season 5-6. It's a little embarrassing. Should not be playing in Texas.
Yeah, I agree. Even though Audi Field probably won't hold as much as the Alamo Bowl, or where they're playing, like the Alamo something?
Alamo Dome.
Dome, yeah. It probably doesn't hold as many people, but
been to San Antonio, it's not that sweet though. It's like compared to the 2 cities though, DC or San Antonio.
Yeah, or even have it somewhere like neutral site in the middle where,
Go to Houston.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
Hey, if you lose, hey, that's what the shit start being the rules. You lose, we get to have a party in your city.
In your city.
Your city.
Yeah. Hey, I'm all for that. I mean, I'm with Lawrence. They probably should have waited until maybe not the beginning of the season to pick where their championship game was going to be hosted, because who knows what could have happened. But there's probably
NFL.
Yeah, there's probably logistics behind that, but. Maybe next year they'll change it up. But yeah, I mean, like I said last episode, I thought it was the Roughnecks game to lose, basically. They had the better record. We're basically playing better all year. So it was their game to lose, and the Renegades pulled it off. I watched a majority of the game. At the same time, the Nuggets were playing, so, I had to watch the Nuggets and Suns series. But from what I watched, it was, the Renegades they came to play. And it just, took them until the final game to actually put things together, like Warren said. So it's kind of a surprise for me, because I was expecting to wake up and see a DC Defender versus Roughnecks championship. And, yeah, we got a slight change in plans.
Yeah. Speaking to Perez, he did have a little game. 19 for 27, 289 yards, 3 tubs, no picks. Had a nice little 59-yard. Yeah, that's a game, bro. So I mean, I don't know if he can repeat that against the defenders, but that's really at this point what it comes down to. The championship, we got the Roughnecks that thought, we have the Renegades, and we have the defenders. So I mean, who y'all got?
Yeah, early.
Biasly speaking.
Well, we got DC, bro.
Early preview, it's way too early. We got 2 weeks ago, but I'm gonna say defenders.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out. The boys is coming back with it.
I'm gonna come out even harder. I'm gonna go defenders by more than 10. We're gonna kill them, bro.
No,
we're gonna kill them. Like
wow.
we have the best defense in the league by far, and it's not even close. This is their first time ever getting 2 offensive touchdowns. The last time that they were playing, the game ended 20. I think it was 28-26, but the score does not tell all. It was 26-9, and the defenders gave up. Like they just were like, okay, we don't care anymore. And the Arlington got a touchdown return, or like a interception return, because they put in De'Aaron King, which we watched this last week or this weekend against Seattle against the best offense. They put in De'Aaron King again. For whatever reason, it doesn't make any sense. Jordan Ta'amu is having a great game. Why are you taking him out? It doesn't make any sense at all. I guess you don't want him to get hurt, but don't let him get hurt.
Like, really?
But like they put in
Bob Stoops.
They put in De'Aaron King, and the man just doesn't. I'm sorry, but he didn't play all season really, and you only played him periodically. He doesn't have any rhythm for the team, so don't even bother. Just do your thing and keep it rolling. Don't try to be cute. No one ever wins being cute.
It's gonna be interesting to see what the line is at. I don't know if they have what's the early line, Lawrence? Do you know?
Oh, I hadn't paid attention. Let's find out. Quick Googles.
I wonder if it's gonna be by a touchdown or more. I feel like
it should be.
Depending, I mean, just based off of both teams' performances this weekend, I feel like defenders were really dominant. So it might be a touchdown, maybe 7.5. I don't know.
Let's see the two. While you're pulling that up. So the defenders were 9-1 in the season, 5-0 at home. To your point, Kel, and the Arlington Renegades 4-6. Wow, losing record. Home 2-3, away 2-3. I mean, they're a pretty mid team. So point differential, they're minus 48. The defenders are 50 plus 58. So I mean, we already can see who the better team is statistically speaking.
Yeah.
It really depends. It's funny because they're in the same division as the Roughnecks, and the Roughnecks went 6-0 in their division and ended up losing to the Renegades. The defenders went 6-0 and beat the Sea Dragons, who were in their division. So, I mean, if you just base it off like who is playing better, who does their job and does it fairly well, and with the circumstances that the defenders had to play in, I mean, it would be hard for me not to believe that's like a pretty big spread.
Yeah. Any word on the spread, Lawrence?
They have not posted it yet. I'm on FanDuel. I went to the source. It is not on yet.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we will have to revisit this at another episode and see what the spread is.
But maybe I'll give you a quick rundown though. The USFL spreads. Philadelphia Stars are minus 2.5. Michigan Panthers, apparently they must be really good. They're minus 6. New Orleans Breakers, they're minus 3. And then Bremerton Stallions are minus 7. Okay. Well, apparently we got some really good teams in the USFL. I mean, in the future, I hope the USFL and the XFL play each other for a championship. DC deserves to play some real talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Well, fellas, that is a wrap for our episode 6 MTL podcast. It was fun. We got into some good stuff. Make sure you stay tuned for episode 7. We're going to break down some more basketball, of course, and we're going to get into a couple more things. We got football. It's about to hit that, that lull period. So it's time to look at the rookies. Teams shaping up for making a run next season. So and we'll be able to talk about the XFL and finally, well, maybe not by that time, but maybe sometime in the near future, we'll be able to talk about defenders giving the Renegades that work. potentially. So,
No.
fellas, you got anything else for the people?
No, that's it. Good episode. Follow us on our socials, Twitter at MTL Sports Podcast, on TikTok, MTL Sports Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff.
You already know what time it is.
Shields up.
Shields up.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.